Welcome back to this third lesson that we're doing in Project HHF. Oh, I've got a visual. Let's look at where we are in Project HHF this week. Now last week, starting at the top, we looked at the head and how important belief is when you're a disciple. This week, we're going to the hands and looking at service, how we can be good servants. That's an important aspect of being a good disciple. But we're talking about how we serve today as disciples. So let's get into that. At church, we do a lot of serving. Miss Kris does a lot of work in the kitchen. Show them the size of that spoon.
It's a ladle.
That is
really
a
big.
huge spoon. We serve a lot of people. Not only do we serve at functions like we used to have before COVID, like brunches and potlucks. We serve at Room in the Inn when we have guests come in.
And hospitality.
Hospitality.
An Easter brunch.
And funerals.
That's true.
Lots of big feed there. Yeah.
So service is just part of our church. It's part of being a disciple. And I thought today, one of the best examples of a person in the New Testament, in the Bible, is a woman named Martha. You probably know about Martha and her sister Mary and their brother Lazarus. Well, this is a particular story that brings out that aspect of Martha's discipleship, the fact that she is a servant, a server. So, Jesus and his disciples were wandering through the countryside, doing what they do, teaching about God, teaching about Jesus. And they came to Jesus and his disciples came to their friend Mary and Martha's house. Actually, it was Martha's house. Jesus. And they were tired, they were thirsty. They didn't let Martha know ahead of time that they were coming, but they came and crashed at her house. Well, Martha was always a welcoming person. She invited the disciples in. She cooked up food for them. She made space for them to spend the night. And
Is that Martha?
there's Martha.
Oh, okay. That was Mary.
And you can see that she's got, should we start this over again?
No, it's working great.
Okay. So she's got her bowl of food to serve. And she's working very, very hard.
Martha's
Martha's
in the kitchen.
in the kitchen.
Getting kind of upset.
Doing the work. And look at her sister.
And her sisters are sort of hanging with Jesus, and
They're just talking and Mary's listening. And Mary was a little unusual. In those days, a woman usually didn't sit around with the men listening to the rabbi talk. A woman's normally in those times would have been working and serving, but Mary was different. She had a gift for listening and learning, and that's what she did. Well, Martha starts getting a little bit upset because she's had all these people show up on her doorstep. She loves these people. She's doing a lot of cooking. She's probably done some cleaning. And she went to Jesus and asked him, Lord, don't you care that my sister has left me to do the work by myself? Tell her to help me.
Martha, Martha, you are worried and upset about a lot of stuff, but few things are needed. Indeed, only one thing is needed. Mary has chosen the better, and it will not be taken away from her.
So, Martha's probably a little bit miffed
I would be miffed if I was Martha.
that Jesus didn't really stand up for her the way she wanted him to.
Right.
But we have to realize here that both Martha and Mary were bringing their gifts before Jesus. Martha's being a gift of service, Mary's being a gift of listening and being a good student.
Learning, yeah.
Learning. Both of these are wonderful gifts to have. Not all of us have the same gifts.
No.
And not all sisters get along.
True. As any of you in there who have a sister or a brother.
Not all siblings get along.
Yeah.
There you go. So, that is our story of a person who was who had the gift of service. And we all have it to some extent. All right. Thank you, puppeteers.
Okay.
Now, the last thing we're going to talk about today, get my papers over here, is how can we serve? Ms. Kris, can you help us understand? Yes, we know about the disciples serving, we know about Martha serving, but how do we do it? How can we be servants to be good disciples?
As a church, we support each other in times of need. Like when the building came down during the tornado several years ago, when y'all probably weren't even born, we really realized that the church was not the building, it was the people and the support of everybody.
Exactly.
We have people that are shut-ins, means they can't get out of their house, people that are sick or new brothers and sisters, and we try to pay attention to them at that, really at that point to support them. And in the community, we do room in the inn, we support social justice issues, just various different ways that we can reach out. And to me, that means a lot. That means it's really a church that I want to be a part of, because if you're just a mouthpiece, it doesn't matter.
And not everybody does everything.
No.
Some people want to work with Room in the Inn to help our homeless guests. Some people want to help the people who are shut in, and they are the ones who might take food to people. So
Some people want to advocate for fair housing and racial justice and social justice, and so all
we're
of
all
those.
doing different things. So keep going, please keep going.
Okay, so for the children, there's all kinds of different ways that you can help. In fact, you're going to get a book for Easter. I'm not going to show you the book, but I'm going to pull out a couple different comments that I pulled from that, like helping your friends when you're sad.
Oh, that's important.
Saying kind words to people, whether you know them or not. Sharing your talents that God gave you, because everybody's got some kind of talent. And just being kind to the world in, just as a whole. And on the way over here, I saw something that was really, really sad.
You saw a sad thing? What did you see?
There was a homeless person, and they had a sign, and they needed food, and everybody just kept on driving past them. You see how hard that was to get out?
Yes.
That first one? Well, this one, because this one helped it,
It sort of pulled that second.
and this one helped it, was a whole lot easier, and that's how we work as a church. We support each other on many different levels, and that's basically the same thing that you do with a tissue box or...
And not only are the people who are pulling up, there are also people, or tissues underneath.
Aww,
So beautiful.
Poor Mr. Ken.
I'm so sorry.
I feel better now. You like a little dry eye? Yeah. You got
Sad.
eye cuties.
But there are also tissues in that box underneath.
Yes.
We're doing some lifting up.
Ah, that's true. There's lots
Right.
of
These down here, they're helping push everything up.
So there are pullers,
Yeah.
lifters, and there are
Pushers
pushers.
Yeah.
No, we're
or
not
supporters.
supporters. We're not telling you to be a pusher when you grow
No,
up.
Yeah, no, that would
don't
be
do
bad
that.
news.
That's not a
Don't do
good
that.
thing.
But Mr. Mr. King, you were saying something about how service,
Well,
Affection.
service is important to me. I don't think that I can just sit in the pew and just receive God's love. I mean, that is certainly a way that God's love comes to me. But I also have to put myself into the world and carry God's love into the world. And one of the problems I have is that when I'm just sitting there, I'm thinking about myself most of the time. But when I am serving other people, I cannot be thinking about myself because my effort is outward. And when I'm not thinking about myself, then God has a chance to come into me and direct me in what God wants me to do. Because a lot of times when I'm trying to figure out what God wants me to do, I'm mostly thinking about what I want to do and whether that lines up with what I think. Yeah, but if I'm serving other people, then I don't have to worry about what I want to do because I'm not thinking about that, and I just go forward and I trust that God guides me.
and Miss Kris, you serve
A
a
lot.
lot. Miss Kris is really
No.
personifies.
And that is exactly what I don't like about service.
Oh,
She doesn't
you
like the
don't-
recognition.
I don't like to be recognized. I mean, I'm glad that people are,
Is
what
that
has he
Halo?
got over? I don't like to be pointed out, or I just like to be able to help other people, and to me that's part of service, is just caring about that other person and not being worried about what you're getting in return for it.
And the invitation to a Holy Lent that we got at the beginning of the season basically said, do your service in secret. Because the people who do their service where everybody can see it have already gotten their reward.
That's a good point. Now, as I was looking for quotations for this aspect of discipleship, of service, I came across one from a woman who has been a big part of our life in the 20th and 21st centuries, Mother Teresa. And you've probably heard of her.
Yes.
She was the
Most
nun
definitely.
who
She
headed up the
lived in
Little
Calcutta.
Sisters of Charity, and she's now become a saint. She's Saint Teresa of Calcutta. She took care of lepers, like
Jesus.
Jesus.
Jesus was not a leper.
No, he took care of lepers.
Okay.
But one of her quotes, here it is: "If we pray, we will believe. If we believe, we will love. If we love, we will serve."
Yeah.
And that was
That's
a
beautiful.
beautiful, short synopsis of service, and that's how she lived her life. Now, when I was looking over here for my picture of Mother Teresa, I found another picture that I forgot to show you. Hold on. We'll wrap up our lesson today with this beautiful painting by John Vermeer, Christ in the House of Martha and Mary. And you can see, as she's usually depicted, Mary is on the floor, kneeling, listening, and Martha is serving.
She's got a basket of bread.
And
It's a
there are
beautiful
not
picture.
Yeah.
that many women in the Bible who are mentioned by name.
Mary and Martha get a lot of rest, don't they?
Mary and Martha are mentioned, and it's also mentioned that Jesus loved both of them, as Jesus loved their brother Lazarus. And oftentimes, at least years ago, as women were studying the Bible, they frequently pulled out this passage looking for female people that they could model their lives after. And women were presented frequently with the option of being a Mary or being a Martha.
The good news is that doesn't have to be the case anymore.
It's not the right way to look at it. You can be a little bit of Martha and a little bit of Mary.
And a lot
Absolutely.
of Jesus. I mean, we have women who are priests now, and that teaching role is more like rabbi.
It's true. So,
Thank goodness.
as you
Yes,
think
definitely.
about service and you're doing your craft for this particular section of Project HHF, think about how you want to serve and how you can serve and how you can continue to serve.
Your service can be ministry as well as helping.
And
It can just be from the heart. It doesn't have to be, I mean, like when you're little, it can just be being nice to your mom and dad, or your brothers and sisters, or just everybody in general.
Don't think too hard about trying to figure it out. Just see who needs help and do it.
as Nike says, just do it.
There you go.
Thank you for joining us today, and we'll see you next week for our last lesson. We'll look at the feet.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Bye.
Hi, everybody. The second portion of the HHF project is focusing on hands and service. So, as you can see, I've got one of the kids' packages because all of the adults are gone. So, kids jump in there and start working. And there are 2 pages in here. The first one is going to tell you about the project itself. And the second one is going to tell you about the hands portion, and it's the service portion. And then you will also have 2 pieces of identical pieces of cardboard or paper to work with. And once again, there is a top and a bottom, and you can tell where the top is by the writing on the back. It's not going to matter as much with this particular one, but just to keep in line with everything. And so what it's going to do is I'm going to trace my hands, and then we'll see what's next. Okay, so this is the top of the paper. So I'm going to put it right there. Actually, right there is the top. And I'm going to trace both hands. So it's going to end up having to be overlapping, as you can tell, because Miss Kris has a big hand. So I'm going to trace this hand. Okay. And I'm going to figure out a way to artfully place the other hand and trace it. Oops. Let's see if we can make that up. Okay, and we're just going to have my hand kind of hanging off. Okay, oops. And hopefully that looks all right. I may try it again. I don't think that looks very good, but that's why there is a second piece of paper. So, this is the top. We're gonna put it right there on the top. And let's try this again. Let's see if we can't. My ring got in the way on one of them. Yeah, that looks better. I'm happier with that. Let's see if we can't do this one. I'm right-handed, so that's what makes it hard. So you might have to get somebody to kind of help you with that other hand. Some people are able to write with both hands. I'm not real good with it. That's better. Okay. So give me just a second. I will pick out my stuff and we'll get started coloring it. Okay. So this one is Miss Lee's. It's all pretty and colored in, and she wrote her name down at the bottom. So make sure you write your name when you're done. And one more thing, you probably have some of this at the house. It doesn't have to be Aquanet, just some kind of hairspray that will make it seal, because if not, with the pastels, they'll come off and it won't be very pretty for long. So first I'm going to try to color my little hand in real quick, and then we'll get it sprayed. Well, you probably want to write your name first and then get it sprayed. So start coloring. I'm not used to coloring with this kind of stuff, so we'll see what we get. The reason I'm doing this in different colors is there's all kinds of different ways to serve that look a lot different to different people. So I just kind of wanted to represent that. Let's see. Okay, let's get some more of the other color. And I don't know if you can hear it, but we've got some people that were working on serving hospitality. Okay. Yeah, I know, but hopefully it doesn't look weird. But okay, so I'm going to sign my work. And I am going to take a black marker and outline my hands so that way they kind of stand out and it doesn't look so where is my other finger? There it is. And this is exactly why we're outlining this, so that way we can kind of see the oh, that looks so much better now that it's outlined. I was hoping I wasn't going to have to use my other piece of paper or ask Miss Lee for another one. Is actually what I've had to do. Let's see. Oh, and there is. Oops. Sorry, I came off camera there. There we go. That looks somewhat better. Let's see if we can get my fingers down a little bit further. There we go. Okay. Now, the last part is I've got to spread it so that way it won't mess up on me. And it's, as you can tell, I've already sewed the back of it or the front of it. Thank you so much for watching this and serving in whatever capacity you serve in. We love you and we miss you. Bye.